Alright, so today we're going to be tying a kind of a classic steelhead jig here. So we have our jig head, and we've just laid a couple plastic beads, red plastic beads, just around the bend and on up there. You can glue them in place if you want, or you don't need to. You can actually just hold them in place with your material too. So it's up to you. So we're just going to get started, get our thread going. And so if you haven't glued them in place, now's the time. You can just build up a little thread dam right here. And you know, it doesn't really need to be much. Just get a little thread built up here, and that'll hold everything into place. So the first thing we're gonna attach here is we got some red crystal flash, and we're just gonna get that out. Just add a little bit of sparkle to it. So you know, and it's all, you know, all kind of depends on how big of a jig you like. I like mine to not come back like way far, so we're just gonna get that set up. So I've just kind of taken some flash and doubled it over here, and so we'll take that and we'll get that tied on here. And then depending on how much flash you like, you can either flip this piece over the top here, and you'll essentially just double your amount of flash you have here, or you can just trim that. That's a nice little tip for, you know, basically working with your flash and getting the most bang for your buck. So get that in there nice and secure. And if we like where it's at, we can basically just come on in here with our scissors and just kind of cut all those loops out. I don't worry about keeping everything all the same. I actually like it if there's a little bit of variability in there. So next we're going to come in with some black marabou, and you can do these two ways. You can either tie in and actually spin the feather up, or you can do what I call, you know, kind of like the clump method, where you actually take clumps of marabou and just tie them around, and that's what we're actually going to do here. So we're going to bring that thread forward just a little bit more here, and so you can see I just have like a trimming off of a marabou feather that I've actually used to spin up another jig. So we're just going to kind of get a little clump of that going and measure it out. You know, you want it right around the length of where your flash is going to. So we'll just come in here, pinch that down with your offhand, and then just come over, 2 to 3, and trim that up there. Clean this up a little bit here. And then this doesn't have to be super clean. We can come in with our thread later and kind of get everything to lay down. And so now we're just going to do the exact same thing on the bottom, just to fill it out a little bit more. If you want it really full, you can actually hit all 4 sides of it. So, you know, measure out. Come in here, and so if you have a vise that rotates, it's going to be a good time to use it. You can also just take your hook out and flip it over if you want, if you're having trouble getting it to where you want to be. So just come in with that offhand and pinch. There we go. And just kind of fluff out all the strays there. And secure. And now, so you can kind of just come in here, get some of those, you know, stray feathers that are kind of fluffing out on the end here, and get those down a little bit with the thread. But it's at that point, you're you know, it does. The marabou jig is in the water, will be moving around enough that it's really at that point it's more for you as a fisherman than it is for the fish. If you have a few, you know, strays sticking out here or there, it's not going to really matter. So We're just going to do a couple half hitches. Get that in there. And then these ones can be a little bit difficult to whip finish just because you got those beads that come over the top of. So if you're having issues with that, basically just hit it with some head cement, do 2-3 half hitches, and then trim it all off, and then hit it with some super glue or some head cement, and then that'll hold everything in place. So got a little on here. Just gonna hit that there, and then that'll be nice and secure now. So, and if you're ever having issues working with your marabou, you can just kind of come in, wet your fingers, and come in and then just pull it back like that, and that'll help everything lay down. But yeah, so there we go. We got the completed steelhead jig here. A little bit of flash.